All right, we are live for day two, and I've been doing this for a while, and I still make mistakes. So I just sent out an email that went to day one's links. So there's probably a lot of people that are clicking on the links and they're going to day one. That is my fault. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire off another quick email. So bear with me. And while we're doing that, why don't you go ahead and let me know your first name, where you're watching from, because we have got a awesome day planned. We are going to map out outlines of our mini course. If you've ever struggled with that, if that has been a struggle for you, and if you've struggled with how to record your courses, we're going to jump into that as well. So let me give me 1 second here to do this. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop back on a little bit of music so you don't have to just sit here in dead silence. Okay, I think we're good to go. We got that out. But hey, you guys found me. So you obviously found me somehow in some way, whether you're hanging out over on Facebook or already a subscriber of the YouTube channel, you figured it out. But I know I'm going to have a flood of emails of people saying, hey, I clicked on a link, but it took me to day one. Well, hopefully we've solved that. We've just shot out a second email. Hate to do it, but I know people are looking for it as well. So, hey guys, welcome. Glad that you're here for day two. I'm ready to get started. I've got a bunch of cool stuff to share with you. And it was so fun reading back through the comments from yesterday of people sharing their aha moments and their takeaways. Even I think it was Laura who said, "You can't see me, but I'm like dancing around right now." She was just so excited about day one and what we were covering in the day one video. So let me know right now, did you do your homework? Do you feel like you've got at least a working title of a concept of what you would create for an online course? Let me know right now. I want to hear from you. I want to make this a little bit interactive today. Tell me in the chat right now what at least your course idea is. I'd love to hear it. And while I'm waiting for those comments to come in, I'm going to download one other PDF I just thought about that I'm going to share with you guys that I think would be especially helpful today for those of you who struggle with not wanting to be on video, or maybe creating a course. What's kept you back is like, I don't know how to talk to a camera, Jonathan. I'm used to talking to people, right? Well, we've got you, and we're going to cover some things today I think are going to help you with that. So day 2 is all about how to come up with an amazing course outline, and then some creative ways that you could use to create your videos. So yeah, I've got that queued up and ready to go. We're going to look at that as well today. All right. So I'm just checking on some of the comments here. Let's see. Let me just go back a little bit here. A bunch of you are saying hello. Glad that you're here. Welcome. We've got Angelica here from Philadelphia. Good morning. It's Carl from New Zealand. Hi from Romania. Let's see. Meg saying hello from Southern US of A. Susan's here. Jennifer's here from Calgary. Hey, Jennifer. Tom is here from Worcester, Ohio. Awesome. And so many more of you, if I didn't pop on here. There's just a lot of comments coming in from either Facebook or YouTube. Now, if you have questions as we go through the material today, just put the capital letter Q in the chat so it stands out for me and I'm able to quickly decipher what's a question for me. Because while I'm teaching, there's a lot of back and forth conversations between those of you that are watching, which is totally awesome. I love it. But it just makes it a little bit easier for me to pick out the question so I don't miss your question. Tom says, my course idea, rediscovering joy in ministry again. I love it. Susan, embracing the challenge of eating bugs and worms in a survival situation. Well, that's kind of interesting. Time management for busy professionals trying to start their own business. All right. Let's see. Yes, I did my homework. I have 3 mini course ideas. Organizing your life at home using project management. One idea is to create a watermarked page banner with your logo. Yeah, that's great. Meal planning strategies for managing depression symptoms. That's awesome. Great. All kinds of like creative niches and ideas here. So today's day 2. What we're going to do today is we're going to dive into how to come up with some course outline ideas. And also I'm going to show you how to brainstorm using our worksheet. And by the way, if you don't have the workbook, right here is the link I've got right here for you. Just go to jmill.biz/course workbook, all one word. I will be showing the workbook on the screen. If you don't want to get it, it's fine. But if you do, go for it. Grab it. You just got to click on that link. There's no email required. It just gives access to the PDF for you to download. All right. So let's jump into this because I want to talk about how I would do it pre-AI. If you know, we introduced a little bit of AI yesterday and how we can use AI. Remember, I said that it's not designed to make you lazy and just spit out the same answers of everybody else. You have to learn the ethical, creative way to use something like OpenAI.com, ChatGPT, so that you can learn how to make it your Robin. Remember, I said you're Batman? It's your Robin. It's your sidekick. It is your research assistant. It is your personal assistant to fuel the creativity. But you have to bring it some creativity, and it's going to fuel more creativity. That's the idea here. So we're going to get into some of that, and then I'm going to talk about some of my favorite ways, a little cheat sheet on how to create your videos. Okay? Because again, the goal here is I wanted to help you do this within 48 hours. Could you get something up for sale? Right? And you may be thinking, I don't know if I could do that, but stick with me here because I think you're going to find that it's much simpler than maybe you originally thought. All right, let's jump into our iPad here, and we're going to jump in a little bit and talk through the steps here. All right, so this is really important, and this principle helped me when I was first starting, because what can happen for us as subject matter experts is we want to pack everything, right? Like, it's harder sometimes to keep it simple, okay? Yet simple is desirable for a lot of people. They like simple. Take out all the fluff and keep it and make it really simple for me, right? And so it's our job as the experts to break it down to its simplest parts. I think it was either Thomas Edison or Albert Einstein. I think it was Albert Einstein who said, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand your subject enough. And so that's the hard work that we as subject matter experts need to do, is we need to fully give in to learning about our craft. Now, that being said, for some of you, the imposter syndrome goes up right away and you say, well, I have to wait until I am like really, really knowledgeable about everything before I can start serving people. And that's not true. You have what it takes right now to get someone started with the knowledge that you have. It's a concept I've used for years called being a leading learner. I don't know everything about AI. I'm still learning as I go. But the things that I've learned about AI, because this tool's only been out since November, but from what I have learned, I'm passing along to you. So I'm a leading learner. So view yourself as a leading learner in the subject. You're growing and you're passing along information as you do it. All right. So the key though here is not to pack in. And this is where my high school teacher, I used to be a high school teacher. This is where this comes out. It's not about just giving a bunch of information. It's about providing the steps of transformation, right? And so it's really important that you understand that a course is not, oh, I'll talk about this, I'll talk about that. And the easiest way to help you is to remember this right here. Think steps, not information. This is key. This is super important. And so what I want you to do is think about, well, what's step one? What is step two? What is step three? What is step four? Once I decide the parameters of my mini course. Okay. And you can use this worksheet to help you. And I've kind of labeled it here, intro video. That's simple enough. It's a simple video. It's like, hey, welcome to the course. In this course, here's what you're going to discover, blah, 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 blah. And the next video, jump to the next video and let's get started. And then you've got step 1, 2, and then I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, I don't recommend going beyond 8, and here's why. Because you're also going to have some type of a next steps video. And I encourage you to have your last video could be something like, hey, so you might be saying, well, what's next? And you should always give your audience a what's next. Now, it could be as simple as if you do one-on-one coaching or you want to get coaching clients, this is where you put a link to your Calendly, to your calendar, where someone could book a call with you and say, hey, I hope you've gotten a lot of value out of this course, but you might still have some questions like, how do I apply this to my situation? And if you would like to work with me personally to kind of set all this up or to work through the material here, I have a few spots available. Just book a call. Let's have a conversation and we can learn more. So that could be what you put on your next steps video at the end. It might be, hey, your next step is to join my membership. If you've got a membership, the next step may be to purchase a copy of my book. If you have a book, you can figure out the next step, but always try to have a next step. It's a little pro tip. Try to have a next step for people in their journey that could lead them to the next step, which ideally would be another product, coaching, book, something that you have to offer. Okay. Now, if you say, Jonathan, I don't have a next step and you're open to coaching, just do that, right? That's as simple as just setting up a Calendly link and allowing someone to book a call to talk about coaching. Okay. All right. So if you're following along with what I just shared here, we are recommending that you don't have any more than 10 videos. We have an intro video, a maximum of 8 steps, and then an outro video, which is about next steps. Okay. Now, you can go as little as 5 videos in 3 steps. All right. It could be anywhere, in my opinion, it could be anywhere from 3 steps to 8 steps, ideally is what we're looking for. Anywhere between 3 and 8 steps. And each step is going to be its own video. There's no magic number there, but I would say keep it around that if possible. All right. So that's kind of how we start. Now, let's take the course idea that I was talking about yesterday. I told you that since last July, it's been kind of a second business and hobby of mine to sell vintage sports cards on eBay. And we're sending out about 300 orders a month now. It's pretty crazy how it's taken off, but it's been so much fun for me as kind of a second business. And so I, at some point, will probably create a course teaching other people how you can buy old sports cards for cheap and then list them on eBay and sell them. So let's just use that idea. And again, we're going to jump into AI in just a second, but let's use the idea and kind of brainstorm here. So what I'm specifically going to do, and I got this idea from the help of using ChatGPT to give me some ideas like we talked about yesterday. If I were to do one, I would do one based off of how to use promoted listings. So promoted listings is a fancy way to say eBay ads. So when someone's searching, you can have your eBay search listing show up on top by making it promoted. And the way that that works is you have to be willing to give up an extra percentage of the eBay fee. And sometimes that could be 5%, 6%, 10%, 15%, whatever you're willing to do. It will help get more eyeballs on your listings. And so that's a strategy that I've been using. So let's say I wanted to teach that in a mini course, how to sell more sports cards with promoted listings. Okay, so I'd have an intro video. I might do something like, what are promoted listings? Right? So, and again, I'm just brainstorming off the top of my head. We're going to do this in a second with AI. Next would be I would say overview. I'm not going to write all this out, but overview of the ads platform on eBay. So where would you actually do that? Maybe step 2, I would do something like decide your percentage, because you can choose what percent that you're willing to give for that listing. And let's say I were to do how to analyze your results. And then finally, maybe I do one more, and let's say I call this advanced tips. Okay, so in this particular one that I just came up with, I would have, basically I've got 4 steps in intro and outro video. I've got 6 videos I'm going to need to record. Now notice inside of each of these, I have what you will cover. So this is for you to just create like a bullet list. Maybe you have like, I want to make sure I covered these 3 things in my video. Over here is transformation. Remember, your audience wants transformation, not information. So you want to be thinking, again, this is for you. You want to be thinking, how is this going to help my audience? They're going to, in this case, about overviewing the platform, they're going to feel more comfortable with how to do a promoted listing, right? So that's a way that you just walk through this worksheet and you kind of sketch everything out, come up with your own steps, okay? So that is how you would do that in a manual way. But how about we use ChatGPT that we have been using? And I'm going to pull that up now. And let's get into that part. All right. So I'm going to increase the size of this here so you guys can see it and kind of walk through this. All right. So this is what we talked about yesterday. And so I said, as a coach, remember this was our kind of our formula. I said this right here. I'm a coach. I should say who, but it says how, who teaches others how to sell on eBay. What are 10 super creative, super niche ideas for courses I could create? Now, what I did not do here is I should have said I'm a coach who teaches others how to sell vintage sports cards. So as an example, I got all kinds of stuff back about toys, crafting, wine collectors, sneakers. And so when this happens, don't be discouraged by that. You just decide to get more specific. So this is what I did. I'm a coach who teaches others how to sell vintage ungraded sports cards on eBay. Can you come up with 10 creative mini courses I could create? And the software came back with building a vintage sports card collection, pricing your vintage sports cards, negotiating your vintage sports cards. Let's see, negotiating techniques, understanding the grading system. Ultimately, this is the one I fell on. So I'm like, promoting your vintage sports cards on eBay. Show students how to use eBay's marketing tools to promote their listings and increase visibility to potential buyers. And that's something that I do with my cards. I'm like, I like that idea. So again, this is about you directing the AI to come up with ideas for you, and then you take that idea and you run with it further. Batman and Robin. All right. So I said, I like the promoting your vintage sports cards on eBay example. Could you come up with 10 creative titles for my course? Each title should be less than 44 characters. So I wanted like some concise titles, ideas for my course. idea. So this is what it came up with. And I'm not going to read through all of these, but it came up with a bunch of potential ideas. And sometimes what can happen is you look at this and no one title is really what you want, but it's like picking from this word here and that word from this one to kind of create my own idea. And so what I said was come up with 10 more titles and include the words eBay vintage sports card marketing. So it went through, it was a little bit longer titles. I still was not sure. So I said, can you come up with titles using this example? Selling vintage sports cards with eBay promoted listings. So sometimes you don't get back the exact result you want. But again, if we're staying in the same chat thread, it has the context of all of the stuff ahead. And I did some research on this to find out like how much context it can go. It can do a process about 3,000 words, which is a lot. 3,000 words in the same chat thread. It uses all of that as context to help you. So I said, come up with more titles using this example. And then it came up with these. And then I was really getting someplace because I really liked some of these. And I said, okay, the title of my mini course is eBay Ad Secrets for Vintage Sports Cards. Now, here's where it gets exciting. And this is what I want to talk about today. So once you have it doesn't have to be the exact title, but it can be close enough. Once you have your title, put this in. The title of my mini course is, please come up with a mini course outline that has less than, and then you can decide what you want. You could start with 8 lessons. You could start with 5 lessons. You could say 4 lessons, right? And so this is what it spit back to me. Certainly, here's a mini course outline. And this is crazy because this is really, really good. Here's a mini course outline for eBay Ad Secrets for vintage sports cards with less than 5 lessons. Lesson 1, understanding eBay promoted listings. What are promoted listings? How do they work? Why are they important for selling vintage sports cards? So in my video, my training video, I would start off my video and say, hey, in this first lesson, we're going to answer a couple of questions. What are promoted listings? How do they work? And why are they important for selling vintage sports cards? Now, if I wanted to do this, I could even take these 3 questions and I could say something like this. So let's say, I just want to help you guys with thinking, because the more creative you can think, the better the output you're going to get. Using these 3, and I just had this idea right now, so I don't even know how this is going to turn out, but this is why I'm doing it live with you guys. Using these 3 questions, can you create a video script for a lesson for my mini course? Now, you could even say something like, keep the video script under 5 minutes. Now, I'm going to do a colon. Make sure you do colon because that helps them to know, the software to know what they're using as context. And I just put in these 3 things. Let's see what happens. All right, so I got to scroll all the way down here because I had a lot of other stuff in there. And here we go. Here's a video script, everyone. So if you wanted to do a teleprompter, and there's different teleprompters, the one that I like is called Prompt Smart Pro. It can work on your phone. It can work on your iPad. It's called Prompt Smart Pro. But check this out, ladies and gentlemen. Hey there, in this lesson, we're going to cover the basics of promoted listings on eBay and why they're important for selling vintage sports cards. Now, let me just pause here for a second. It's important that you go back through the script it gave you and reword it in your way. It's not about just reading something that a software regurgitated. In fact, you may want to say something like, can you create a bullet list summary from the video script you just created? So again, I know I'm kind of skipping ahead here, but I just wanted to show you this. So now, if you wanted to be a little bit more freelance, you didn't want to be locked into word for word transcript, right? Video, teleprompter, you could kind of have these in front of you. And then you ad lib as you talk on the video, right? So you can say, hey, promoted listings are, so first of all, I want to talk about promoted listings. What are they? They're ads for eBay items that show up higher in search results and receive more visibility. So if you've ever been searching on eBay, you might have seen this little word that says promoted. That person is using promoted listings so that their listing shows up at top of the search results, which means more people are going to click on that and potentially buy, right? So I just explained it by just having a bullet point. So use it to your style. You can use a script, and again, you may have to edit the script, but it gave me a script here, right? So what are promoted listings? Well, essentially, promoted listings are ads for your eBay items that show up higher in search results and receive more visibility. These ads are created by you, the seller, and they're designed to help your listing stand out from the competition. Now, how do they work? Well, promoted listings work on a cost per click basis, and then it goes into it, right? That's pretty cool. So you can use this to get really, really specific and then edit this to make sure it has your experience, your knowledge, your stories in it, or you could generate just more of a summary. You can also say, hey, can you create a lesson summary for me for lesson number 1? You could do that as well. All right. So I know I've got a bunch of stuff here. Some of this is stuff I'm going to be talking about tomorrow. So I'm just going to scroll past some of this. All right. Those are, I'll be talking about this tomorrow, but how you can also take everything that you have in here and create marketing emails and subject lines to help sell your course as well. And sales page, which we're going to do tomorrow. Okay, sorry for the scrolling. It's just because it's zoomed in so much. All right, so here's my lessons again. So I've got lesson 2, creating effective promoted listings. That's a great lesson. Lesson 3, tracking performance and adjusting your ads. Lesson 4, other tips for promoting your vintage sports cards on eBay. And then Q&A and final thoughts. So there you go. This is an opportunity for you to get some ideas around you. So once you have your title, let me just come back here where you guys can see me. So once you have your course title, you then can go into the software like this and get some ideas around some lessons. Now, one of the things you could do is say, well, I really only want to have like 5 lessons, but I'm going to ask the software for 10 so I can pick and choose the ones I like and don't like. You could do that as well. All right. So again, you could use the way that we outlined here. Old-fashioned brainstorming, nothing wrong with that. Or if you need some creativity, or you could start with this. So start here and then go into ChatGPT to get some additional ideas or clarification. All right. So there's one more thing I want to talk about today, and then I'm going to get to your questions. I see some questions coming in, and yeah, I'll be happy to answer those questions. So get those questions in. The last thing I want to cover today is how to create the videos itself, right? Some of you are comfortable with camera, some of you are not. I know when I first started, it was really awkward for me because I'm staring at this thing. There's nobody else in this room, and I'm talking to this camera. I'm used to having a live classroom of students. I had to remember to look at the camera, right? And so you may be at a place where that's uncomfortable for you. Well, the good news is we've got some different ways to help you. So this right here is a cheat sheet that I created for Market Your Message Academy. This is the type of things we do. In fact, this whole challenge was first a playbook inside of Market Your Message Academy. And so this is something that I've used over the years to help me understand the different styles of videos I could do. So let me walk through and explain these to you. So style number one is called a talking head video. A talking head video is what this is right here. Remove the little lower third right here and just talking to a video. That is called a talking head video. You can use just your iPhone on a tripod and record all 4, 5, 10 videos of your course just doing that, or just using a webcam. You can absolutely do just that, and there's nothing wrong with it. So what are the pros and cons? The pros are customers can see you and they can better connect with you personally because they're seeing you as a human. They're interacting with your facial expressions, your hands waving, that sort of thing. What are the cons? Well, it's not ideal for demos or walkthrough videos because it's hard to explain. It would be hard to do my eBay ads course if I can't show my screen and actually show them how to do an eBay ad, right? The resources you need for this is just, again, a camera and a microphone, which honestly, your iPhone could do perfectly fine. Style number two is presentation slides. So in this case, customers can see your notes, your quotes, your pictures, your main points. Most of the time, this is either Keynote for the Mac or PowerPoint for PC. It can also be Google Slides. If you use Canva, Canva has a really cool presentation feature now that you can use. The pros, again, is that they can see your notes, your quotes, your pictures, and your main points. The cons are they can't necessarily see your smiling face unless you have picture-in-picture, kind of like I'm doing right here, right now. All right. And then style 3 is screen share recording. Now, these are best for demos, tutorials, or showing web pages, even like I'm doing right now. I'm screen sharing. Downside is they don't see your smiling face unless, of course, you have a little window of face right here. You can do that sort of thing with Loom, which you can get started for free and record those first few videos. I think Loom gives you like 25 videos. The downside is each video has to be less than 5 minutes, but you can use Loom for free. You can use Zoom or even like Prezi, which is a cool tool that you can use as well. All right. Now, let's say you wanted to do, and I've actually not done this, so I have no idea where this is going to go. And that's part of the fun is as I'm teaching, I'm thinking about ideas. What if we wanted to take something like take lesson 1 and create a presentation slide deck for me. I have not done this, so just being truthfully honest, it could be a complete bomb. But I'm curious if it would like take lesson 1 and kind of chop it up and tell you what to put on each slide on your video or on your presentation. If it doesn't, maybe I need to say something more specific, but let's see what happens here. All right, title slide. eBay ad secrets for vintage sports cards, lesson 1, subtitle, promoted listings. Introduction, title of that one. So you can copy and paste this into Keynote, into PowerPoint. There you go. So what are promoted listings? Here's the title for your slide. Here's a subtitle you could use. Yeah, I mean, that's not too bad, right? I got 5, 6 slides, 7, 8. Now, this one, ready to take your sales to the next level, enroll in eBay ad secrets. See, that they're not thinking in terms of like, this is for somebody who already purchased it. So again, it's not going to be perfect, but you know, what I would do is I would remove that one. I would have 8 slides here, and I could use these slides if I wanted to do a presentation style option. All right. You can do you can do the same for a video ad script. I created a video sales letter with a video. I asked it, hey, can you write out a video sales letter based on the sales page above? And not only did it spit that out, but it gave me ideas for B-roll. Now, if you don't know what B-roll is, if you've ever been watching a video and it transitions to showing something else, but you can still hear the voice of the person who's talking, that's showing B-roll. It gave me B-roll suggestions. And then if you use something like Descript, which I know I'm getting a little bit pro here, a little bit advanced, so you can just plug your ears if this is overwhelmed for you. But those of you out there, I always want to push people a little bit who maybe want something a little bit more advanced. It even gave me recommendations for potential B-roll, you know, find a woman smiling on a laptop, or find somebody somebody who is typing really fast on the keyboard. And I was able to, in Descript, actually find B-roll footage, because it has B-roll footage. If you don't know what Descript is, it's a video editor that you can use, and plug that in. I was able to create that video in probably 30 minutes with music, B-roll, the script, putting the script into a teleprompter. It was pretty incredible. All right, so let me get to your questions now. What questions do you guys have? So let's just scroll back through here and let's see. All right, lots of awesome chat today. Hope this is like encouraging you guys to say, you know what, I can do this. In fact, if you feel a little bit more hopeful that you can actually do this, will you just put that in the chat? I can do this. I can do this. All right. Yes, this is so true. The more specific you can get with your thinking and queries, the better results you'll get with ChatGPT. Yes. This is the key. This is really the key to you. If you have a concern of, well, is it just going to spit out the answers that everyone else is all of my competition's doing too? Well, learning the skill of how to talk with ChatGPT is what is going to ultimately help you here, because the more creative you can be with it, the more unique your answers are going to be. All right. Let's see what questions we got here. Will the videos be available tomorrow? Yes, they will. We'll make them available for a short period of time. All right, how about this one? What do you think of recording the demos or using slides with pics and then do the webcam talking ahead alongside. Yeah, you can. So you can do this however you want. There's no perfect way. There is a right way for you. So for some people, they want to record just reading a script that they have developed, and then they want to put in the visuals or the PowerPoint or whatever later. You can do that. You can do this however you want. So there's certainly nothing wrong with that. All right. How do you do picture in picture so I can show my slides while allowing the viewer to see me? So I'm using the software I'm using. It's a live streaming software, but I also use it to record all of my courses and content. And it's called Ecamm Live. So ECAMM. Now it's only available on the Mac, unfortunately. So if you don't have a Mac, but it is totally worth it. I can live stream. I create all my courses with it. I can set up slides like you've seen. I can share my screen like this. I can share a different screen. I can do picture in picture. I can move picture in picture around. I can make it, some other kind of version here. I mean, it's pretty awesome. There's a lot of cool things you can do with it. And I'm getting a little crazy here right now. All right. So you can also use Loom. So again, check out Loom, loom.com. There's a free version. It only gives you 5 minutes of recording time. So your videos need to stay under 5 minutes. You could use that and it will have a picture. You can also use Zoom and just get in a Zoom room by yourself, record it, and do your course that way. All right. Let's see. Is Descript similar to Camtasia? Yes and no. So Descript has gotten a lot of attention because what it does is it actually makes it easier to edit videos. So with Descript, you put your video in, it automatically transcribes your video into words. And then with one button, you can remove filler words, whatever, it'll edit it. But what's cool about Descript over Camtasia is in Descript, if you remove words, it automatically edits the video. So for a lot of people who don't have technical skills of how to edit videos in Camtasia or something like that, if you know how to edit a Word document, you can edit your video. And that's the power of Descript. Pretty cool stuff. Can you show an example of B-roll? Sure. So let me pull up marketyourmessageacademy.com and you will see this video right here, right? So this is what's called a video sales letter, but watch what happens while I'm talking, and I'm not going to play it because it would be annoying to you to hear echoes, but you'll notice here in just a second, it is going to transition to showing something else. So any second here, it should, oh, that was the end of it. Sorry, here it is. It's starting over. So watch here now. It should pretty soon do a B-roll. And while it's showing something else, you still hear my voice. So see that person typing on the computer, but you can still hear my voice. That's B-roll. B-roll is where you just add in something else so that it's not just straight talking head video the whole time. It makes it a little bit more engaging, makes it a little bit more interesting. You can mix in showing yourself and then showing somebody else, like here. So it's not, you don't hear her talking, you're hearing me talk, but you're seeing an example of a B-roll. That's B-roll. All right, let's hop back here. I see a bunch of you. I can definitely do this. I can do this. Peggy says, I can do this. Someone said, please send help. I'm addicted to generating ideas. I love this. Jennifer, Jonathan, Charity, thank you so much for sharing this. You're welcome. Pastor Paul, thanks, Jonathan. I can do this. You absolutely can. How did you get your web address on your screen? If you're talking about this, this is, you can use like Canva or Get Stencil. And what you do is, this is just a picture. It's just a picture that I dragged and dropped. And again, using Ecamm, you can just drag and drop a picture right on this. And there's other fancier ways to do it, but I keep it simple. So I just created this image and then I drag and dropped it in here. This is what's called a lower third. So yeah, that's how that works. Just wondering if with the demo, having a face talking would enhance the attention factor. It can. It just depends, right? Like if it's a 30-minute video of just talking head, you can lose people, right? Because it's just too much of one thing. Just depends. It's a great question. Is there a total length minimum we need to keep in mind? I'm thinking my mini course gives the promised transformation, but it may be too short. I may need to add some extra or tip. Here's what I would say. I don't think you can make it too short. And I know that sounds crazy, but I think we can have a tendency to make stuff too long. But as long as you have thought steps and it contains steps that people need for transformation, you don't need to have something super, super long. Here's what I would say. I learned this by accident, but apart from doing a challenge where I'm live doing something like this, so apart from like a challenge, a webinar, a masterclass, I intentionally try to keep all of my course content between 5 and 15 minutes. 15 minutes is on the long end. And I think that's just, it helps people to feel like they're making progress. And I don't know about you, but I've taken courses before where I'll be watching a 10-minute video, and then the very next one I look and it's like an hour and 30 minutes. And I'm like, oh man, I don't have an hour and 30 minutes for this lesson, right? It just feels like too much work. And then what's worse about doing that is, what if the gold is at minute 52 and you can never find your way back to that part because it's buried in an hour and a half long lesson? So I'm a fan of short videos, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Very rarely do I go 15 unless it's just a very technical step-by-step that I want to make sure I'm not going too fast, right? So a lot of my videos, if you've been in our courses or any of our memberships, you'll look at them, they're 5 minutes, they're 8 minutes. They're always really short and actionable. And I think that's really important. All right. I think that's all the questions. Yeah. So action steps. Let's talk action steps. What I want you to do is I want you to come up with a basic outline. Now, for you, what would I call it? Overachievers. You could go ahead, if you've got time today or even tomorrow before 3 p.m. when we do day 3, and you could record an intro video or record a lesson, go for it. I think that's awesome. But what I want you to do is I want you to use something like this worksheet, at least, even if you use ChatGPT to give you some ideas. I want you to at least sketch out anywhere between, on the small end, 5 videos, at the most 10 videos, right? And we know we're going to have an intro and we're going to have a next steps video. So you're going to have 3 lessons up to 8 lessons. All right. Map that out, that outline out. And then tomorrow, I'm going to show you how you can create a sales page using a really powerful copywriting principle that I'm going to show you how to use it without ChatGPT, and then I'm going to show you how you can use it with, where it can actually write out a sales letter based on your content, based on all that content we've gathered so far. It can use that as context to write a customized sales page template for you. So if you've ever been frustrated by sitting down, having to write a sales letter and it stopped you, you're going to want to tune in tomorrow. It's going to be awesome. So again, homework, get your course outline ready because we're going to use that course outline tomorrow in order to create our sales page. If you want a bonus, go ahead and hit record a couple videos. There's nothing wrong with doing that. And yeah, and then we'll get into that tomorrow. All right, so that is it. And hope this was helpful to all of you. We'll see you tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern for day 3, lesson 3. All right, we'll see you guys then. Bye-bye.